Hey guys, what's up? Kyle here with Colossus Gaming, and I'm pretty excited today because I get to introduce you guys to a new series. This series is going to be called Sandbox Sundays, and I'm sure you can guess what it is. But what I'm going to be doing is every Sunday I'm going to be uploading a new video on a sandbox game of my choice, giving you guys some features, information about the game, and reasons why you might want to check this game out. Now, since this is the first video for this series, I wanted to do a game which I'm pretty hyped about, which is also pretty close to release, and which I've had a few requests to do videos on. This game is called Arcage. Now, I'm sure most of you have heard of it because it's one of the bigger sandbox games that have a big hype about it coming out. This is a sandbox MMO, actually. If you don't know what that means massively multiplayer online game. So, World of Warcraft is an example, Guild Wars, games like that. Now, not only is Arcage close to release, it's supposed to release later this year, but I expect it to be early next year. It has some really exciting, innovative features which I'm excited to share with you guys. Now, one of the really cool things about this game, which you've probably seen in other sandbox MMOs too, is the unique class system. There's no actual, choose one of 4 classes. There's actually 120 different classes in-game. So basically what you do is there's ability trees, and you sort of form your own sort of class around that. So you can have like a warrior who's a necromancer and casts fireballs if you want. If that's your thing, it's cool. And I think that's one of the things I enjoy most in sandbox MMOs is it allows the player to be more creative and free with how they play the game. Now, so far there's 3 continents in the game. There's a western continent, which is sort of a medieval English style continent, and if I'm not mistaken, elves and humans start there. Now, it's kind of hard to find information on this game, and it might be changed, so I don't know that for a fact yet. And there's an eastern continent, which is more of an Arabian sort of style, which I think is really cool. And last, but my favorite continent, there's the northern continent. Some people have called it the Lost Continent or the Land of Origin. And this is like a PvP guild castle sort of continent, sort of similar to what you'll see in a game like Mortal Online or Darkfall. It's more like that up there in that continent. So you and your guild can build a castle and you fight for control points because castles can only be built on certain points, whereas other things can be built anywhere on the continent. The only way to get up there is ships too, so I think this will bring in some really cool naval battles because if a guild can't get up to the continent, they're not going to be able to build there or fight there. And so I think limiting people and how they get up there is a really cool idea. Now, ships don't work like they would in a normal MMO. They work more like, if you've played Darkfall Online, they work pretty much like that. You build a ship. I assume it takes a decent amount of resources, so you'll probably have to have a guild to build one. And you guys can go on that ship and go up there. There's naval combat, so your ship can be sunk. There's lots of things you can do to your ship to lose it. So it's kind of an asset to have ships and resources to build them. On the other 2 continents, building, as far as I know, is limited to certain areas. So you probably can't build right outside one of the main towns. And this is to keep, of course, the clutter down. But you're still able to build houses and farms which you can grow resources on, which is really unique about this resource system because most games of this genre, you have to go around and chop trees. And you can still do that, but here you can have your own farm and grow those resources there, so you can keep them in sort of a more centralized location. Now, obviously, if you want to build bigger things like a city or a boat, you're going to need to go out with your friends and mass gather resources. You're not going to be able to grow it all on one farm. But if you want to stay sort of centralized and just have smaller amounts of resources for smaller crafting that you maybe want to sell, you can do that all in one farm, so you don't have to run around all day, which can get kind of repetitive. Now, another cool thing about the resource and trading system is you're going to see something sort of like caravans in game. And this is because resources have weight. Like, if you chop down a tree, it has weight. So you can make things called resource packs, trade packs, which you then have to carry. And you'll be really slow carrying these without something like a donkey or a cart, or a ship would work as well. So you're going to see things like player caravans of guilds, mass gathering resources, and they're going to have things like carts and donkeys to transport this. Now, I've mentioned a few similarities of this game to a game called Darkfall, a newer game called Darkfall and Holy Wars. I don't know if you've heard of or played either, but you can check that game out too. It's actually currently released. It has the PvP looks similar, except the PvP concept is similar, but the combat system is a lot different. In Arcage, it's more of a tab target WoW combat sort of system, and in Darkfall, it's more like a combat system you see in Skyrim or Terra. It's a Twitch-based system where you click to swing. Mortal Online has it as well, which is probably one of the only setbacks I can find with Arcage. Now, another setback of this game is it's developed in Korea by a studio called XL Games. Now, I'm okay. I don't have anything against Koreans or anything. It's just a lot of MMOs I've played that come out of Korea turn out to not be so good. But this game, I've read a lot into it, and if it lives up to its expectations, I think it will be a great game. Another amazingly awesome, pretty unique system in this game is gliders. Anybody can have a glider, and it's a glider. You can fly with it, and you can fly anywhere. It's not like you can fly in certain areas. You can fly anywhere. You can jump off a mountain with your glider and fly around, which I think is really cool. It adds player freedom. It adds some cool PvP siege aspects because you can fly over somebody's walls with gliders rather than having to destroy them. And there's also siege warfare, which is my favorite in this genre of games. You can build catapults, siegery equipment, stuff like that, of course, because if you're on the Land of Origins, there's limited castle spots, so people are going to be fighting over those spots. The most powerful castles, or most powerful guilds, will control these spots, and so you're going to see some pretty large-scale, cool-looking battles up there. Now, last but not least is a really, really cool system, which could either be extremely awesome or could fail really bad. And this is the player justice. So say you're an asshole, to put it bluntly, and you go around and you steal from players and you grief and you kill players. And now don't get me wrong, it's fun to do, but there's a justice system. And there's court, which will be judged by actual other players. So say you kill players of your same race, you will get like a reputation loss, and you will be brought to court, and court is judged by other players. So those other players will decide if you're guilty or innocent. If you're guilty, you go to jail. I don't know exactly how the jail works because there's not too much information about that, but the cool part about this is if you go to jail enough, you'll be exiled, and you'll be exiled to this place called the Pirate Island. Now, on the Pirate Island, you're with other pirates, of course, and it's not just called the Pirate Island, it kind of forces you to be a pirate if you want to live that sort of lifestyle, because any NPC or player, you'll be kill on sight, so you won't be able to go to the normal continent and talk to normal NPCs and do normal things other players can. You can really only interact on the Pirate Island. So the only real way for you to get resources, I'm sure there's other ways, but it's through pirating. So it's kind of like if you want to be a pirate, you're going to get exiled. It's pretty realistic, and I think it's cool. It makes it so that there's not going to be too many players just running around killing everybody, which is kind of the problem in some games like Mortal Online. There's just assholes who run around and kill everybody. There's going to be punishments for them, and if you want to do that, if that's how you want to play the game, you're allowed to, but they're going to make you stick to that. You can't go back to your warm little cozy house with all your buddies and laugh it off and chill. No, you gotta be a pirate. Now, I couldn't find much more information about this game because most of the content currently out is in Korean, or the few North American content, I've kind of already gone over that with you guys. So if you have any more features that you know of you want to share with me, let me know in the comments. Also, let me know which game you want me to do next week. If I get enough suggestions for a certain game, I'll do that. I have some ideas in my head, so if I don't get any suggestions, I'll do one of those games. Remember to like my video if you want to see more content on Arcage or the Sandbox Sundays. Just let me know how I'm doing, and if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to see more content from me, then make sure you subscribe so you can see my videos in your feed. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it informed you a little bit about Arcage and why you guys should check this game out. There hasn't been an official release date announcement, but make sure you keep an eye on it. I'll see you guys all next Sandbox Sunday or next video I upload.